Hey guys, welcome back. This is leg number 2 of our trip across the country from JFK to LAX. We're in Harrisburg at KMDT. We're heading to Pittsburgh at KPIT. About an hour and 20-minute flight. We're in the Piper Arrow. It's the Aerosphere Piper Arrow single engine turbo. I believe it's a turbo. We can get up to about 150 knots. Love this plane. A lot of fun to fly. And we're going to take this one to Pittsburgh. We got the red and white livery on it. We'll talk about a few things while we're flying. So excited to get with part 2, or I should say leg 2 of this trip. Really looking forward to it. You can watch the map there on the left to where we're going to be heading. I had a comment from one of the subscribers, Russ. Russ, I'm sorry, I can't remember your last name, but he's actually he's a commercial pilot, or was a commercial pilot, and he suggested that I start using checklists on my flights, and I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to start putting that together. It takes a little bit of work to do that, so I haven't prepared to do that today, but I just want to let you guys know that I'm going to start to do that. Make things a little bit more official, a little bit more controlled, and set a good example. Now, when I am landing, I'm going to use his suggestion to use the acronym GUMP, which is GUMP. Gas is the G, so you make sure you've got your tank set to the most filled tank, or both if that's your option. U is undercarriage, make sure your gear is down. M is mixture, it should be all the way in. And propeller is P, it should be all the way in. So those are the things you need to remember when you're landing, sort of a simple acronym checklist. And I'll make sure that going forward I think about that, or hopefully talk about that as I get more controlled here. So in any event, let's get on the way here. I do have plenty of fuel. It's not that long of a trip. Engine does seem to be working just fine. I'm going to bring it up to about 2,500. And I should show you that I've got my flight plan in there for MDT to Pitt. It's 160 nautical miles. Okay? Using the trusty G530. So here we go. Full throttle. Release the brake. Get a little bit of, I guess they call it P factor, pushing us to the left because we're in a single engine. And we are off. Get it up to 70 knots and rotate. Nice easy takeoff. And we should pick up that magenta line on the GPS fairly shortly. You want to stay on the runway when you're taking off at positive rate of ascent. Going to get the gear up. Give us less friction. Our magenta line came in on the GPS, so we're good to go as far as navigation. Everything looking okay. Going at about 500 feet per minute. We're going to bring it up to about, I think I'm going to bring it to 2,500 today. And then we'll set our autopilot on nav to get us there. So we've cleared the runway now. We're just going to continue up here. And what I could actually do is I could actually put autopilot on nav right now. And that's going to start to, I would have put CDI to GPS. And now the GPS and nav are linked. And it's going to start moving us right towards our planned route to Pittsburgh. See the plane moving nicely. I'm just basically keeping it on an incline to get us up to 2,500. And once we get up there, we've got a couple things I want to talk about today on the trip. It's a nice plane by Aerosphere. They were kind enough to give me this plane, and I'll talk a little bit about it as we're flying. But it's got full systems. You can start it from dark, and it really functions very well. I think it's about 24 bucks. You can find it on xplane.org. Aerosphere is the company. All right, so we're coming up to 2,500. I'm going to bring the throttle back and the propeller back to about 2,500 RPM. Don't want to be riding that completely full. All right, we'll set our altimeter control right. Oh, that's not the one. We're at 2651. and we are good to go. Okay, so really excited to be back in the seat here. I did a little some FSW analysis or flying, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But happy to be back into the world of VR flying. One note is I'm going to have to send my Rift back because I've been having this problem with tilt, where in the headset everything is tilted like a few degrees to the left on the horizon, like 5 or 6 degrees, and I mean it's manageable, but sometimes it's random. Sometimes it's like 10 degrees. Oculus was very good. Oculus support was actually great. They tried to help me with some calibration, which didn't work, and a couple other steps, so they're going to basically RMA me a new Rift. So I'm going to be sending that out in a couple of days. It takes about 8 days to get the new one, so I'm going to be in 2D for a while, which is going to suck, but what can you do? So anyway, news on that. So also wanted to talk about, I had mentioned in the last flight that I was having issues with FSW control, like it was delayed, like a quarter-second delay, and that was all on me. What I did was I reduced all the null settings to like around 0 for the plane control, and but now it works fine. It's very responsive and it works just fine. So if you're having that same problem, that's how you correct that issue. And let's see, so the other thing is, I just posted yesterday a video. It's called the X-Plane 11 Beginner's Guide, and you know, it's for a certain audience, folks that are just getting involved with X-Plane 11, and maybe folks that are just getting involved with flight simulation. Now, I've been, you know, flying in flight simulation on PC based for many, many years, like I said in the video, since the Apple II days, okay? But, you know, with X-Plane 11, I bought it a couple of weeks ago, and it took me some time to figure out where the resources were, how to set things up properly, etc., etc. And I figured, you know, why don't I impart that on to others that are starting off so that they can, you know, can kind of clear the road for them. So this video goes into the basics of knowledge, configuration and control, flight school, learning how to fly, and then how to get your resources together. So those 4 topics are covered. It's really straightforward. So if you guys are interested in getting started with X-Plane 11 and you really don't know where to start, I'll put a card right here so you can click that video, or at least link it and watch it later on. And I have links in the video to all of the resources that I talk about in there, and I'm hoping that'll be helpful to people. So that's the X-Plane 11 Beginner's Guide. It's gotten a lot of good comments and a lot of likes so far, so you guys let me know what you think about that. So back to FSW. You know, if you're a flight sim enthusiast like me, and you've kind of been following what's been going on with FSW, there's been, like, in the last week, it was released about a week ago. In the last week, there's been back and forth about, oh, it sucks, oh, it's great, oh, give Dovetail a break, oh, don't give Dovetail a break, blah, blah, blah. It's like a tennis match, back and forth. You know, it's a flight simulator. They released it for beta. It's early access. We all know it's early access. We know it's going to have problems. If you want to pay $25 and get it, it's up to you. You can return it in Steam if you don't like it, okay? If you own Flight School, you get it for free, so you shouldn't complain about anything, right? In my videos, I'm not complaining about anything. I just talk about what I see as issues that need to be corrected, right? Or I think need to be corrected. It has a lot of potential. It also has a lot of things that need to be fixed. It's just the way it is. So there's no reason to defend Dovetail games. A lot of the fan people of Dovetail and FSX and all that, oh, give Dovetail a break, and, you know, well, yeah, I mean, yes, give them a break. It is early access. I totally get that. But by the same token, they're a money-making organization. They're trying to make money. They have to pay people who develop the software, who have families, to put food on the table. It's a chain of events, right? So, but we're also the consumers, right? And they want us to look at this product, and they want us to tell them what we think is wrong with it, right? And they're not going to take all the suggestions that we give them. They're going to take the ones that most people are asking for, And hopefully they'll make those changes and improve the product. So it's okay to have constructive criticism about FSW. You don't have to defend Dovetail Game, anybody. You don't have to defend them. They understand that they put this out there and that they're expecting feedback. They want feedback. They've got a feedback form. So enough with the debate about, this, that, and the other thing. It's going to be a product. It's going to be out there. It's not going to be for everybody. And that's that. Now, I will tell you this. I strongly believe that they should have had a demo version. They should have given you a 14-day demo or some sort of way to demo it. X-Plane 11 has a demo system. P3D has a demo. You can download the demo and try it out. I don't know why they didn't do that. They should have done that, okay? Because not everybody wants to spend 25 bucks on it. They may try it out and they don't like the way it is or whatever. Give people a demonstration model, right? It's sort of the standard in software to offer a demo. All of your competitors offer a demo. I don't know why they don't have a demo, but that's the biggest thing I would suggest to them. The frame rates, the coloration, the scenery, the auto-gen, et cetera, those are all things that have to be, some things need to be improved, and I'm sure they're working on improving. In fact, I think they already announced that they're going to be coming out with a release next week or something. But give people a chance to try it for free, all right? Why not, right? What can it hurt you, okay? So that's the one suggestion I give to Dovetail Games. I have the software. I got it because I own flight school. There's things I like about it. There's things I don't like about it, and I'm going to continue to play it. I'm hoping that maybe FlyInside gives us a VR engine for it, because that would be cool to check it out in VR and see what it's like in VR. Especially those new planes. I love to see how they're modeled in VR. But, yeah, so that's it for SSW. So just, if you want to try it, try it. If you don't want to try it, don't try it. But stop the debating, all right, about which one's better and which one's this and this thing. But it's ridiculous. Anyway, that's FSW. All right, let's see. What else do I want to talk about? I got notes here. Oh, AirFoilLabs Cessna 172. If you own that plane, which I do, I think it's like a $35 plane. It's basically a enhanced Cessna 172 SP that gives you like failures, and it's got more enhanced flight physics, some camera options, etc., etc. It's a pretty cool plane. They just announced an update. They fixed a bunch of stuff. Go on their website. You can see what the things are. I downloaded the update. It seems to fly much better. They fixed a few things that were noticeable. One of the things they didn't seem to fix was the sound issue when you go from outside to in. They had this like a loud whoosh. I was still getting that, but I was hoping they would fix that in the release. But it's a pretty cool plane, and as I mentioned in the beginner's guide video, I recommend people get really up to speed on the stock Cessna 172, which is a really good plane. It's a cool plane to fly. It functions well. And then as the next step probably would be go to the Aerosphere. I'm sorry, the AirFoilLabs C172, because it gives you the ability to do checklists and all that stuff. So, in fact, I'm probably going to fly that plane in one of these legs because I think it would be cool to do. So that's if you're interested in that, or if you own that, make sure you get the update for that. You can go to there. It's on, you go to xplane.org, log in, look at your history, your order history, if you ordered it through that, and you should have the ability to download it right through there, right? So that's the AirFoilLabs C172, right? All right, so PlaneCommand. Now, I started to talk about that a little bit in my last video. I've got this capability, found this thing called PlaneCommand. You can see, well, you might not be able to see it because I might have a block, but in the upper right-hand corner, there's a little gray icon of a headset, okay? That means you're using PlaneCommand. And when you have PlaneCommand, you can use voice commands to change things in the cockpit, which is really great in VR, right? Because it's kind of a pain in the ass. You got to, like, you know, with FlyInside, although it's really good software, you've got to like look at something to change it. So, and you have to take your eyes off the sky. So it's kind of a pain in the ass. Okay. So PlaneCommand, and I think it's PlaneCommand.com, they have a free version you can check out, which does rudimentary stuff like this. Strobe off.
Strobe lights off.
Strobe on.
Strobe lights on.
Landing lights off.
Landing lights off.
Okay. Beacon lights on.
Beacon lights on.
Okay. Pretty cool. Like what? Watch this. Set heading bug to 270.
Heading bug set to 270 degrees.
How awesome is that? Set heading bug to 180.
Heading bug set to 180 degrees.
How awesome is that? Okay. So I had the free version, which gives you standard stuff. Doesn't have the heading capability, but it gives you standard stuff like flaps and gear and stuff like that. Like, watch this. Landing gear down.
Landing gear going down.
Landing gear up.
Landing gear going up.
Okay.
Landing gear up and
low. And what I do is I have this button here on my yoke set. You press that and you talk and it listens to you. So the Pro version is $20, and I was a little skittish about buying it because the website hadn't been updated, and it said that it worked with X-Plane 10.3, I think, whatever it was. And I wasn't sure if all the Pro commands would work with X-Plane 11. I got in touch with the guy and found out that yes, they do work. So I bought it for $20, and so it just makes it a lot easier to control the plane in VR. I don't have to worry about the mouse. Like, I can set the transponder. Set transponder to 1, 2, 3, 4.
Transponder set to 1, 2, 3, 4.
Autopilot off.
Autopilot off.
Autopilot on.
Autopilot on.
How cool is that? Okay. So PlaneCommand, it does work with X-Plane 11. My understanding, I was actually looking on Reddit, and there was a post on there that said that they're coming out with an update in a couple of months or a month or so. If you're interested in PlaneCommand, check it out. It's PlaneCommand.com. It's a really cool feature, and especially in VR, I think it's going to make things a lot easier. Now I'm going to have to get used to using it and saying commands in the correct way, but especially as I advance, here's my plan. I want to learn checklists, and I want to learn protocol to do like Pilot's Edge. I want to start doing Pilot's Edge and actually training in the simulator to properly fly and communicate with ATC, right? So I know that having that ability to use voice commands in the cockpit is going to make things a lot easier. If I could just go set comm to 124.6.
COM2 set to 124.6.
I mean, that's awesome. Set comm 1 to 124.3.
COM1 set to 124.3.
That makes it so much easier to have to fiddle with it and stuff like that. Now, it would be great if they start building in more commands like GPS commands and stuff like that. But listen, just having, I think it's like, I don't know total, but if I had to guess, I think it's about 15 commands. That's enough to help out, for sure. So, PlaneCommand.com, check it out. I'm going to be using it. You're going to see me using it more in my videos. And I'm looking forward to checking that out. PlaneCommand.com, little plug for them. So X-Plane 11.02 beta release came out, I think, yesterday, and I was looking at the Next Gen Facebook page or Facebook group, and people are saying that the frame rates are fantastic and I personally don't want to run beta releases of flight simulators. I don't know. I just don't want to do that because I don't want to screw shit up before, because I'm trying to produce videos for a YouTube channel. So I'm going to wait till, I waited for 0.01 to be GA, and I'm going to wait for 0.02 to GA. So it would be great to have better frame rates. My frame rates here are 29, 28, right there. You can see it in X-Plane, and 95 in the headset. I'm not too displeased with that. I think as long as you're around 30, you're fine. Okay, 30 and above is fine. That's my philosophy. And you're going to have stutters sometimes because you're moving through different meshes and stuff like that. But, for me, as long as it's 30, great. Now, in the tough areas like the New York scenery or the LA scenery or Miami, where you've got a lot of density, I would love to be able to be in the 30s and have world objects up to maximum. because to me, having world objects at maximum is the goal, because that gives you the most realism. So I'm glad to see that they have, Laminar has talked about some optimization features. Look at that, that's pretty cool, like that right there, that ridge. You guys can't see it in VR, but you could see like the definition of this ridge right here. It's pretty cool. So X-Plane 11.02 beta, I would imagine that the last time that beta came out, it was about a week later that the GA came out. So I'll just wait a week and load it and update it when it's GA. So, and you can go to developer.xplane.blog, I think it's called, or whatever it is, to check out some of the features that are going to be you're going to see in there. So that's X-Plane 11 beta release, and this is all leading up to the 0.1 release, which I'm not sure what that's slated for, but my understanding from reading is that it's supposed to have a lot of optimization features. You know, my hope is that they improve things in the simulator so it takes full advantage of the 10 series GPUs. You know, if you got a 1070, 1080, 1080 Ti, you know, you want to see that utilization in the 60s and 70s, you know, taking full advantage of that thing, right? At least in the 60s and 70s. And really now, you rarely see utilization go, at least in my Ti, you never see it go like above like 40 or something like that. So take full advantage of the GPU. I know they're moving towards that, and hopefully 11.1 will be the apex of that, if you will. So good things happening in X-Plane, and so looking forward to that. Another company, X-Plane Realistic. Been talking to them, and this is a add-on plugin that allows you to get like real-world realism, like head shaking and stuff like that. So we're talking to them, and they're interested in letting me check out their product. So that's going to be coming soon, probably within the next week or so. I'm going to be kind of held up here because my Rift is going to be getting swapped out. So I'm trying to plan for that. But yeah, X-Plane Realistic, XP Realistic Pro, it's called. We'll be checking that out in the next week or so too. So let's check out some of the scenery here. All right, guys, we're about 24 nautical miles outside of Pittsburgh now. Unfortunately, I got a black screen in X-Plane 11. I'm not sure if that's FlyInside or X-Plane 11 screens. But anyway, what I do in that case is I find an airport as close as I can en route, start from there, get it back up in the air, and pick it up where I left off. So we went to KIDI, which is a little airport just east of about 50 nautical miles east of Pittsburgh, and now we're heading the same path. We're heading basically due west into Pittsburgh. Now, the runways, I looked at SkyVector, the runways at Pittsburgh run east to west, so I should be lined up pretty well coming in there. We'll leave the autopilot on for a little bit longer until we get to about 5 miles out. And then we'll start to descend. We're only at 3,400, so it shouldn't take us too long to get down, to get on a good glide slope to land. A couple more things I wanted to talk about. First, I ordered rudder pedals. I ordered the CH Products rudder pedals. Pretty good ratings. They've been around for a long time. I really want to fly in real-world weather, and you can't fly an X-plane in real-world weather unless you have rudder pedals. You just can't. You can't rely on the auto rudder pedals, because when you're landing on a crosswind or any wind at all, you need to have the rudder. It's going to make it much more realistic, for not only for flying but for taxiing and everything else. So rudder pedals should be here in a couple of days, and it's going to take me a little bit to get used to them. I'm just used to having my feet on the ground when I fly, so it's a new thing for me, which is kind of exciting. Looking forward to that. I don't think I'll do an unboxing because they've been around for a long time, but I may do a video on using them. Not sure. So anyway, CH Products rudder pedals, that's what's coming my way. I'm looking forward to adding that into the mix. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the giveaway that we're running. FlyInside has been kind enough to offer 3 copies of FlyInside for me to give away on the channel. There's a video. I'll put a card up there. You can click on the card. We're going to pick 3 winners at random. You have to enter a comment in the video and be a subscriber to win. We'll pick 3 winners from those comments in that video, and each one of those winners will win a copy of FlyInside. And you can choose from the X-Plane copy, the P3D copy, or the FSX copy. The folks at FlyInside, again, were kind enough to sponsor that giveaway. It's going to end on May 31st, and right after it ends, I'll do a selection video where we'll select the 3 winners. So make sure you check out that video. Make sure you subscribe. Go to that video, leave a comment, and the question is, which flight sim do you want to try in VR? That's the question. Just put a comment in there, and you'll be entered. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, that'd be great too. It's Bambino Games on Twitter. I always send out updates on new videos and any other stuff involving the channel on Twitter. So Twitter's a great way to keep track of what we're doing. So we're going to have more giveaways coming up. We'll keep the channel lively and active, and seem to be moving in the area of flight sim more and more. I do play other simulation games, but flight simulation, ever since I started playing X-Plane, has really kind of taken over my gaming. So, and people seem to be responding to that. So, looking forward to providing more video content in the area of flight sim. All right, so check out that giveaway and win yourself a copy of FlyInside. I think I'm also going to be doing a video on setting up a VR PC for flight sim. But for those that are interested in it, it's really not that difficult. Now, there's a lot of talk about what type of specs you need for VR, right? I've built 3 VR PCs, 1 for myself and 2 for other people. I've done a lot of research on what to use, and I'm going to tell you my recommendations. My recommendations are i7-6700 or greater on the CPU side, and on the GPU side, GTX 1070 or better. Now, some of you are going to say in the comments, oh, I can get away with a 1060. Yes, you can. Okay, you can buy a 1060 and you can run it fine. If you own a 980 Ti, that should be okay for VR. Now, some people have complained about it and said there's some stuttering and stuff like that. I believe the 10 series GPUs are designed for the 3D, project 3D in VR much better than the 9 series. So just bear that in mind. My recommendation, i7 6700, 1070, at least a 1070, and 16 gig of RAM. You want as fast RAM as you can. I also recommend SSDs, at least for your boot drive, okay, and where you're gonna run your VR software, your primary VR software. Oh, there's our Pittsburgh airport right there. I better get ready to go. I'm gonna have to go around and come back. So anyway, enough said on that. I'm gonna probably put a video together on that so you guys can, I can give you guys an idea of how to set up a system for VR. So we're gonna take this off of autopilot right now. Okay, and I got a runway right there, which I should be able to get down to. So I'm going to start reducing my speed, get the flaps down. I got a long way to come down, so let's check things out here. Gump, gas. All right, my tanks are fine. I'm on the left tank, and I've got plenty of gas. Undercarriage, I got 3 greens. Mixture is rich, and propeller is in. So I just completed the gump procedure. Thanks, Russ. I'm going to do that from now on whenever I land. All right, so we're kind of descending quickly here, but I do have to get down there. I'm not going to go on the main runway. I'm going to go on the small runway here. Into Pittsburgh. Okay, we should be fine. We're coming down. We're at 2,500. I'm sure ears would be popping in the cabin right now, but we're in a flight sim, so we can do stuff like this. Now, normally, if I wasn't jabbering away, I would have started to move down a lot faster, but that's okay. All right, let's hit flaps again. Okay, and I'm going to come down to about 100 knots, get it down to about 90 knots. Passed our gump checklist. And we're good to go here. Lined up very well for the runway. Coming into Pittsburgh, PA. Last flap. We'll lower the throttle a little bit. Okay, you can hear that we got a little bit of a weirdness in that runway, I can see. All right, let's get this center lined. Good. Flare it out. This runway is weird. Wow. We're actually going to go downhill on this runway. That was a tough landing there. Okay, flaps up. Not the greatest runway. Look how it dips down and goes back up. All right, flaps up. Everything's good. We're good to go. We made it. No problem. Let's taxi. Can we take this first one here? Yeah, we can. We should be able to. Okay. All right, sorry about that, guys. I was jabbering away there, and that wasn't the greatest of landings. I promise to do better next time. I started jabbering about the VR PCs. I did get a question about that. You know, someone was asking me if I could do a video on building on what you need for VR in a PC. So I think I'm going to do that. All right, so we're going to find a place. We're in airline or commercial aviation over here. So I'm not sure where general aviation is in this airport, but in any event, we made it. Turn around here. And I appreciate you guys being aboard for this trip from Harrisburg to, look how beautiful that is. Harrisburg to Pittsburgh. Our next trip, leg number 3, we're going to be going to Port Columbus in Ohio. And I'll probably take a smaller plane for that, like either the stock 172 or the AirFoilLabs 172 Cessna. So that's going to wrap it up for this leg. Hit the like button if you like what you saw today, and don't forget to subscribe to Bambino Games for more X-Plane 11 flight simulation in VR. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.